Nicola, and I wanted to take a few moments here to just check in about where you are at. I've been talking to a lot of people on the virus and all the restrictions that are coming down, possible food shelter orders, and there's just a lot of anxiety and worry that comes whenever there's a big change, one that we know is coming or one that we don't know is coming. And so what we can do is create a little bit more space when this happens. And so I will do this week and maybe over the next number of weeks and offer some of the practices that I do every week. I'm about to sneeze, so I'm just trying to, I don't want to do that right in your ear. But just to do some practices and share with you what I'm doing to help keep grounded, because I've actually been feeling a decent amount of lightness around all of this and curiosity. And the mind wants to do when there's big changes, very, very narrow in conclusion and expectation. And, about expectations and that they're really just preconceived resentments. And understanding the quality of the mind is to search out the problem, search out the solution as a way to end suffering, and just really normalize that. That's just what the mind does. And once we realize that this is just what the mind does, we can detach from that a little bit and have it not feel so heavy. Like to having, this experience, or, that whatever, wherever our mind is going, whatever the path is that our mind is going down, that we don't necessarily have to buy in to whatever those conclusions are, and we can still stay open. This before, but I think it's worth saying again, and that my definition of having high present moment. So I'll say that again. So in order to have faith, it requires having the gift of hindsight in the present moment. And what I mean, times when I'm through something, when we get to the other side and we look back, we go, supposed to, or if I hadn't been delivered, have come my way. So a lot of times we can look back in our life and see that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. But right now, in times like this, when everything feels very topsy-turvy and unknown and dysregulated, it can be really difficult to anchor into that same faith. And as Einstein says, you either believe in miracles or you don't. So faith is something that we need to cultivate, and isn't just something we get to say, oh, everything's working out and everything in my life is a gift when things are going well. It's also a really important practice to invite in those same questions when things seem to be challenging or difficult to any plan anybody could have possibly fathomed. And so what I would offer you as a way to stimulate your faith or cultivate your faith, it would be, what is the gift of, what's the gift that I'm receiving right now? So I know for myself, I have really slowed down. I have much more present with my son, much more so than I have ever before. I have been in the kitchen, really enjoyable for me, playing with new recipes, baking, just in the kitchen with my family, which has been really nice. So there's all these different connecting points. I've today, and I want to write some letters and cards to friends, and actually put pen to paper, which feels really exciting to me. So a lot of things that I knew I wanted, but just didn't have time to create, opportunities that are being created for me here. What I do is cultivate them and see, and really therefore be able to receive the gifts that are all around us, no matter what is unfolding in the world. And so I would like for you to share now. I know there's a few people that are joining, or later if you're watching this, but what are some of the gifts that you see, be it tiny little gifts like, oh, I had to try a new type of bread because the bread store, like I'm potentially like looking at redoing my entire life. of weeks or months, because there's a huge new opportunity available for me here to use the online services and online technology more than I have been up until now. And that creates a potential of reaching people all over the world. And so we get to continue to really in seeing what the gift is. But step one is having the faith of saying that whatever is in front of me is perfect because it's here. And the universe is always happening for me rather than to me. And if we're having a hard time getting our mind there, what is the gift in this that I'm not seeing? And if you don't have to come up with the actual answer, actually just being in the essence, being in the energy of that question, that will start helping you expand your awareness to go, oh, the sun is shining, or I've gotten to take a bunch of naps, and I haven't gotten to take a bunch of naps in a really long time. And it's been awesome. And so, even as I'm talking with you all now, I'm realizing, wow, you're right, naps is something, a gift that I didn't, right in this moment when I asked that question. And we just allow that awareness to unfold and kind of come, rushing over us, and we can shift our perspective, and we can actually change what we are willing and able to receive. Because when we don't see it, and when our focus is very narrow, we miss everything else out here, which means that we don't see all the gifts for us, and that we do start maybe making up stories around how things are not working out and everything is falling apart. So Arlene says, there is so much opportunity available when massive change happens and our brains rewire to adapt. And so what we can do is cultivate that faith, that openness, that curiosity. So curiosity and wonder are great attributes of the heart that we can start playing with more and more and more as we move through this, rather than, let's just say, I'm in Colorado, we don't have an in-shelter yet. It might be coming. I know a lot of places do have that. But rather than saying, oh, if that in-shelter order came, it would mean this, and it would be so hard because of this, and it would blah, 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 right? Like all of these things. Wow, I wonder what that would be like to have an in-shelter order in place. I wonder what that would create in my world. I wonder what opportunities that would manifest for me. And so it's a very different point of view than being in a really deep conclusion around it to be this. I know it's going to mean this. I have an expectation that it's going to mean I can't do X, Y, and Z, and that I'm going to have to blah, blah, blah. So these are the things we can use to cultivate our faith. We can stop and breathe deeply. We can notice the habits of our mind to jump into conclusion and worry, and really just notice when we're doing that, and then use wonder and curiosity to open back out. Ask ourselves questions that we allow ourselves to live and breathe through, like, what is the gift in this that I'm not seeing? Or maybe a mantra, I have everything that I need in this moment. Be anxious for nothing, whatever works for you. But I would love, love, love to hear from you, as you take a moment and reflect, what are the gifts that maybe you seeing of this entire experience that we're in collectively and individually, and how can we what are the practices that helps to bring you quality, kind of the frenetic qualities of the mind and into the spaciousness of the heart. And if all of this feels like too much, or you're not sure where to start with any of what I just said, what I would invite you to do is close your eyes, hands on your heart, and simply breathe. And just tell yourself, I connect to my heart. I connect to my expanded heart. I connect. And just notice yourself. And then I notice sometimes when I'm doing this practice, when my mind is very full, I'll have a lot of thoughts. And I'll just use my hands like a cup. And I'll just notice all those thoughts, and I'll let them all be there. And quality of that, And then I breathe in and I put my hands on my heart and I say, all these thoughts are welcome here, because the mind is limited where the heart is not. The heart is infinite. So there's plenty of space in my heart center for all of those myriad thoughts and to-do lists and worries and anxieties. And when I welcome them into my being more fully, then they relax, actually. Resist or make our mind do something else or calm down. We kind of get really tight around, I've got to kind of simplify everything. And so if we can actually slow down and welcome the mind as is, and think about, I visualize this part of me where my hair is kind of big and I've got a lot of frenetic energy. And I let that part of myself know I love you too, unconditionally, and you are welcome. So if we can stand up for ourselves, then we will have infinitely more capacity to show up for others, for everyone else in our life that we love, that we touch. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. Let's stay connected, use whatever tools we have to do that. And until next time, so much love and light, and I can't wait for the gifts that you are becoming aware of. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.